And welcome back everybody to another day of Anthem update news. It looks like the past 12 hours have brought us more information about some of the upcoming updates, and of course for those of you who are still interested in this game. And yes, I did use the plural of the word update because Bioware announced there's going to be a couple of them coming up real soon. One of them is going to be more urgent as it will fix some of the bugs, and this will drop very soon on Monday, and another one containing a ton of new content, and this will drop later this month. There's also a lot more coming up from Reddit and Twitter, so we're gonna check all of that in just a bit. Of course, starting with the big April update that was announced a few days ago. So we have now more details on when we can expect that one to drop. We didn't have that up until yesterday, I believe. So somebody on Twitter asked, any idea or ballpark when the update goes live? Something closer than sometimes in April, even if it's early, mid or late April, just to have a better idea. And the answer came from the global community manager, who said, while there's no exact timeline for it, it's safe to say it'll be in the second half of April. We'll have a smaller update as well that fixes some bugs. Once the dates get closer, we'll share them, and basically there you have it. Now, since all of the content updates so far were accompanied by dev livestream the day before, I'm fully expecting for that to be announced in exactly that order, with the livestream first being announced and the day after that for the new update, the new content update, to drop by. So there's quite a little bit more time until then, probably at least a couple more weeks, but hopefully this means that that update will be filled with content for stuff to do, and even more so with rewards for players to look forward to. In the meantime, we're going to have an update containing fixes for some of the bigger problems coming up on Monday, and Anthem's global community manager said that for those of you who are still getting components for javelins that they aren't using, there's some good news coming up. We've got an update rolling out at 9 AM on Monday, April 8th, that greatly reduces the chance for that to happen. Furthermore, this update will also make loot earned from Elysian caches to show up immediately after a stronghold finishes, so no longer will we have to resort to restarting the game in order to make them appear in our forges. There's also fixes for the blank newsfeed that's been going on for the past week, and some more on top of that, and the full list will be posted Monday morning, so honestly I cannot wait for that. Even though it's just fixes, I want the game to work in its best condition. At least for the components problem, where it drops for other javelins, that's something intended, but the chance should have been much lower than how it currently is. It's a bug that's been introduced with the update 1.04 that dropped recently, so this is not what it should happen, but after the bug fix you might still find loot for other classes, though at a much lower rate. So if you play on a storm, for example, as Jesse Anderson is putting it, you should almost always get storm components, but yeah, as I've said, there's still gonna be chances for you to find stuff for other javelins. Anyway, I checked the content roadmap to see if anything changed in the meantime from our previous update video, but it seems that the month of April is still having the same stuff in store and the same features that they have been planned for, you know, the past few months. So this month we should still see the mastery system, the guilds, the leaderboards, the new stronghold and items coming up, among the other events and legendary missions that are being planned. So a pretty busy month. If that's going to be all part of the next big April content, it's not yet certain, but my bet is that there's going to be a couple of big updates this month, with the first one introducing the first set of features, and towards the end of the month I'm expecting a second big update containing the rest of them. But hopefully I'm wrong, because I really want to see all of these features at the same time, so I have something to do in the game rather than just repeating the same dungeons over and over again. Now, moving on to one of the things that people wanted clarified for quite some time is how luck affects loot drops, and somebody even asked on Twitter if there's any situation where higher luck makes drop rates worse or causes unintended behavior in that regard, like let's say if you have over 100 or 110 luck. Since loot is so scarce at higher qualities, I believe that this is something the community came up with. A lot of the players tried finding reasons for why they would keep going days at an end without any seeing good drops like legendaries and all of that. So the answer to that is it shouldn't make it worse, but there is a cap that eventually doesn't provide any additional bonuses, and of course we already know that that cap is 90. But yeah, he did say that he's going to ask the team next week and make a post to better explain how luck works. So honestly, I cannot wait for this one to see exactly how it all works, and we do need some more statistics, because the ones that we have right now from people who are playing, well, they are just, you know, situational and they don't really reflect the current situation of the loot drops. There's people who have posted their tests on Reddit, going over all of the difficulties and luck ranges to see exactly how the legendary and masterworks drops are affected. One recent one was posted a few hours back by somebody who tested it on different luck levels and difficulties, and he suggested that after the newest update, which is 1.04 for the PC version, luck does indeed affect drop rates. There does seem to be a cap of 90, exactly how Bioware is suggesting it, but the Grandmaster 3 is the one that yields the better drops compared to Grandmaster 2, but after reading the charts for myself, I am seeing the difference between GM2 and 3 to be very small, to the point that it's not even worth it to go in Grandmaster 3, considering that you'd be spending a ton of time trying to complete that. So it's much better right now to go in GM2. That is what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks actually. Heart of Rage is super easy for my interceptor, and I'm not like super equipped or anything. I'm only 720 power level, but I do have some very powerful masterworks that are much better than some of the legendaries that I've got in the meantime. So yeah, if you can do like Grandmaster 2 in less than 15 minutes, then go ahead and do it, because it's going to be significantly better than Grandmaster 1, despite what a lot of people will tell you. If you can't, then I'm suggesting Grandmaster 1, as long as you can complete it in a timely manner, like at least 3, 4 or even 5 strongholds per hour. Still, my opinion that Anthem requires a complete loot overhaul remains, so I'm gonna keep going with that one. Another great point that somebody raised over on Twitter was, what is even the point of creating a character? You don't have any skills to invest points in, at least not since the alpha, and of course you also can't see it most of the time, especially so when you use custom armors. As you may or may not know, during some cutscenes it only shows your character's face as long as you're using the default skins, but since many of the players have used their custom skins, like for example the ones from the Legion of Dawn theme, well, they couldn't see their faces. That was one of my problems. I never saw my character after creating it in the initial menu, and even more so in hindsight, there seems to not have been any point in having a leveling system, since we didn't have any skills to invest any points in. So this is another great point. I believe that what Bioware needs to do now in order to semi-fix a little bit of the loot is to pull back some of the inscriptions on the gear, so stuff like for example increasing your luck, your job chance, thruster heat and all of that is super useless on gear is something that Bioware needs to bring back in a more meaningful skill system. Now moving on to one of the last topics, I've asked you in one of my previous videos what is your opinion on relaunching Anthem, and it seems that a lot of you were in support of this idea. There were a lot of you of course who were against it, preferring updates along the way and not losing access to the product that you paid for, but this is an interesting topic right now. I'm sure Bioware and EA probably already know the answer to it, but some users are also suggesting a middle ground of postponing updates to better improve them and providing more content with less hiccups, and one player suggested postponing even the cataclysms that are set to come up in May. And while it would be counterintuitive to not bring more content to a game like Anthem, he does bring a few very good points that I'm going to go over real quick. He mentions how a lot of these events will most probably feel pretty lackluster and might not even have any good armor to look forward to. He's also citing the recent Elysian chests, which proved to be wildly unimpressive and contain very bland decals, on top of the fact that they were already being diluted with crafting materials. So yeah, if it weren't for Anthem's current state, a lot more people would probably be against this suggestion of postponing content, but given Anthem's past, it makes a lot of sense to have big content updates that make you want to play them, that takes more time to get implemented than smaller ones that can oftentimes break due to untested problems and lack of quality rewards. A route similar to how No Man's Sky did would probably work very well here too, developing updates for a period of 3 up to 6 months and bringing in massive changes to the game to get people excited and give them a reason to start playing again. It's true that it hurts in the present time and a lot of the players will probably leave the game, but the reputation is already lower than it has ever been for Bioware, and somebody even suggested that the only way from here is upwards. Anyway, on a final note, if you guys didn't check in game already, there's a new store update that happened yesterday. I wanted to post a video, but I kinda, got distracted by Division 2. So there's a couple of armor skins in there for the Ranger and for the Storm. I know a lot of you guys have missed them in the previous weeks, so if you guys wanna hop in and check them out, buy them maybe, then you can go ahead and do so right now, but they still cost 61,000 points, and there's some other stuff in there as well, like new animations, some decal, and of course a new material, but that is pretty much it. Now tell me how many of you guys are still playing Anthem to this day, or if you stopped playing the game, how long ago did you stop playing the game, and are you planning to come back? In the meantime, time, a thumbs up and a subscribe would be super appreciated, and I'm gonna see you guys later.